Hi guys, so now I'm driving the all-new Vios. You would have remembered earlier I have published an earlier video of this car having attended the media drive, but now I'm driving this car again because UMW Toyota Motors sent us the car for a more extended review. Okay, so the rest of the Horizon team, they will get to have a go in this car as well. I'm just driving this for a few kilometers to get a bit of a refresh and experience what the car is like in a more urban context, because previously I drove in the media drive. It was a long distance drive through highways as well as a mixture of trunk roads, right, which the car performed reasonably well, but not in the, we didn't really experience this car in the kind of setting that 80 or 90% of its owners would subject it to. Namely, it is through all the daily urban driving in city and all that. Alright, so observations thus far. First thing, as I sat in this car, I now find that the driving position really isn't, well, is not entirely comfortable, because right now I'm perched in the driver's seat. The steering wheel has no tilt and telescopic, but that is common within this segment. All right, so no tilt and telescopic means that you have to adjust the forward backward positioning of your seat based on the steering's location. All right, and I find that thigh support from the front seat somehow, the seat angle really is a bit too shallow. All right, and the center tunnel is surprisingly wide, well, for what isn't for a transverse engine front wheel drive car. It's as if as the width of that center tunnel down there, right, it's almost as if as this car is a rear wheel drive kind of width, where the transmission tunnel is thicker, but it isn't. All right, and that's that. So the other thing I noticed upon as I got into the car is that the center tunnel, all right, as I mentioned earlier, really the utility factor of this center tunnel is not very well thought out. All right, storage space really is very poor if you compare it directly to its nearest competitor, namely the Honda City. All right, but the driving, well, the driving experience thus far is good. All right, most of the positive observations that we noted on when driving this on highway doesn't seem, there are no new vices really that we have added in driving this in the town driving. I mean, the engine and transmission pairing feels well sorted. And what I really like about Toyota CVT, which I've remarked before, I think this is one of the best CVTs in the market, is that when you are just pottering around town, it behaves like what you expect of a CVT, which that it helps you gently build up revs, build up speed smoothly and without fuss. When you floor it, all right, when you accelerate a bit harder, the transmission's behavior then changes to mimic that of a torque converter transmission. So what happens is that you actually see the revs climbing and then downshift and climbing again. So it has a more natural feel to it, and you also get the presence of pedal shifters, at least in this top spec variant. All right, so if you need to downshift, you can also, of course, flick the gear to manual mode and shift it through the selector lever if you so prefer. All right, so overall, well, as before, I would say that the Vios continues to be a very, well, a pleasant companion, if you like, a fuss-free companion. Gets you from point A to point B, and we all know that given Toyota's track record of reliability, this is a car that will go on and on and on with minimal maintenance, right? Or at the very least, very affordable maintenance. But really, I think the the utility factor of this car, right? The center tunnel should be improved. The seat contours should be improved. The footwell, I think, actually, there isn't even a footrest down there. All right, yeah, there isn't even a footrest down there. So minor things that yeah, that would make this car substantially better, and I think it can be implemented with very minimal cost. I also note that there is also a rear pointing dash cam, which is useful in the event that you're gonna rear ender. Of course, you don't want to have to put that to use, but it's there. This car also comes with blind spot warning, right? And one particular thing about the way it behaves is that if you are just driving about, all right, then the blind spot warning light just flashes on the mirror. If you let's say, like, if there's a car to your left, you signal left, then the blind spot warning system will beep a warning. One thing to note, this blind spot warning system was developed locally, integrated by UMW Toyota. So I say the integration of it looks very neat, very tidy. The overall refinement of this car is good, and yeah, really there is all the good things that we have known about the Vios right from its first generation continues here. So if you are shopping in the 80,000-90,000 ringgit price bracket, you're looking for a brand new B segment Japanese sedan, well, all I can say is the Vios continues to be a legitimate pick. Alright, so our Vios test car comes in this bright blue color, and I think personally, I think this new Vios, right, it really looks best with one of the brighter colors. So honestly, I would really recommend that you take between either this blue or the red. Silver, nah, doesn't show this car's lines so well. White, okay, but yeah, this design really goes best with red or this bright blue. All right, of course, when you take most of the colors, if your car comes with a body kit, it has the red underline. Only if you pick the red color, this red underline becomes black. All right, then here, this top spec variant, you get 16-inch alloy wheels, you get halogen headlamps, but they are projectors. All right, so for me, I think that is quite acceptable at this segment. I know the Honda City goes LED headlights, but for this price range, halogen projectors remain an acceptable option. Then here you have LED daytime running lights here, but this piece of plastic here, this is added locally by UMW Toyota Motor. All right, recently I went down to Singapore and saw a few units of the Vios. I think without this piece, the whole front bumper actually looks neater, and I believe it can be removed if you saw one. So this is, yeah, looking at it, I think it actually can be removed, so you may want to do that. All right, here the Vios also has 360-degree camera, which, like the blind spot warning system, is locally developed by UMW Toyota, and I think this is quite neatly integrated into the front bumper. It is slightly offset. Okay, I'm not sure why, but it's slightly offset. Doesn't seem to affect the image quality though, or the alignment. This too, very neatly integrated. All right, this is the side camera, nicely done. And come to the back. Here, the reverse camera is right there at the side. Okay, so yeah, and then this is the Ducktail Spoiler. I'm not sure what this black trim piece is for, but it's a nice little detail overall. Okay, so yeah, and look at the roof. It is actually a wavy design at the top, so it has two bulges here. Okay, so here, look at the interior. As I mentioned earlier, the seats, the front seats really lack thigh support. All right, and the dashboard here, you see, is molded. So lower spec variants still go with ignition key, but I think in Malaysia we get the Vios with standard with a keyless entry, but this is for overseas. Some markets, maybe like Thailand, Indonesia, they still have the ignition key type starting. All right, And here to show you, yeah, so you see the center console, not very good utilization of space, particularly in the front here. All right, I know this is a nice contour detail, but ultimately unnecessary. I think we much better appreciate it if this whole area was better utilized for storage. All right, yeah, see here, this is also a comically narrow center console box. Let's go to the back. All right, so we see here, you've got armrest here with two integrated cup holders, isofix mounts. All right, so it's located inside this slit, and here, okay, good leg room. Okay, and interestingly enough, thigh support is actually better in the back seats than at the front. All right, here you have a couple of USB charging ports with this this cap here. I'm not sure how long this would last. Okay, certainly I don't see why there's a need for this cap, but it's there. Doesn't feel that solid, to be honest. Yeah, no rear aircon vents. Okay, but this segment not entirely necessary. So this is the famous Toyota hook. All right, and we go to the boot. Okay, so here's the boot. You get 60/40 split folding seats, which you have to fold from, press this here, fold it down. Okay, so it's quite a big step, not a seamless floor, unfortunately. So if you were to transport bulky items, it may rock a bit, right? But there you have it. Here's the new Vios. All right, so gooseneck hinges, so this will intrude a bit in boot space, but that's fine because the boot looks well shaped and well decently sized. All right, so yeah, here we are, the new Vios. Still the same safe purchase as before, just restyled. All right, not everybody likes this front end. I think it will look a lot better if you remove these two plastic pieces. Okay, but that's just me.